So I'm going to go back just a little bit. It won't take long. So here we go. Fat burning exercises and types of body fat. So I'll just begin again. Fat is so often seen as the enemy, something to avoid or lose. But fat is also a crucial component of the body. Without it, humans would freeze. Our nerves, uninsulated, would jangle with crisscrossed communications. We'd be unable to store crucial supplies of certain vitamins or have a functioning immune system. On a cellular level, fats make the membranes that surround cells possible and act as messengers that bind to proteins and enable various reactions. So, with that in mind, the humble fat cell seems a bit miraculous. Adipocytes, as they're properly known, are the cells that store excess lipids, the molecules that include fats and related substances. Adipocytes were once thought to be rather dull sacks of energy, but the past few decades of research have revealed that they have a lot to do in the body, from regulating nutrients to releasing hormones that influence blood pressure, thyroid function, and even reproduction. So, what is in a fat cell? So, under a microscope, fat cells look like bulbous little spheres. Like other cells in the body, each has a cell membrane and a nucleus, but their bulk is made up of droplets of stored triglycerides, each of which consists of three fatty acid molecules attached to a single glycerol molecule. Human triglyceride looks exactly like olive oil or peanut oil and all the other triglycerides we squeeze out of plant seeds. It has the same yellowish color, the same energy density, and the exact same chemical formula. So I know it seems a little geeky, but hopefully you're understanding it. If you have questions, please feel free to let me know. So, white fat. Not all adipocytes are the same. The stuff we typically think of as fat is white fat, which is the main substance used for energy storage. When insulin levels go up, say after a meal, white adipocytes take in more fatty acids, literally swelling in size. When insulin drops, fat cells release their stores as a source of quick energy for the body. Other clusters of adipocytes are used mostly for support, such as the cushion of fat that surrounds the eyes. There was a 2006 paper in the journal Nature that mentioned this. These fat cells probably don't release a lot of energy into the body unless the organism enters starvation mode. The body also stores fat under the skin, that's subcutaneous fat, and around the internal organs, which is visceral fat. Okay, brown fat. Brown fat cells, on the other hand, are iron rich cells with their own unique function. They express genes that alter metabolism to produce heat, making brown adipose tissue pretty important for maintaining body temperature. Specifically, brown fat cells release something called uncoupling protein 1, which is a mitochondrial carrier protein found in brown adipose tissue, which you'll sometimes hear called BAT, B-A-T. It is used to generate heat by non-shivering thermogenesis and makes a quantitatively important contribution to countering heat loss in babies, which would otherwise occur due to their high surface area volume ratio. So babies have a lot of surface area compared to their weight. And so they are born with this brown fat pretty much
Oh.
everywhere. And that's what they call that baby fat.
Mm.
So
Okay.
newborn babies have high
Where'd
levels.
Nosy go?
Okay, there, there we go. Newborn babies have high levels of brown fat. Those levels drop with age, and in adults, most brown fat clusters around the neck and collarbone in these areas you can see here.
So if babies are not fat, they're always cold.
Correct. Correct.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It
And that's,
stops when you're a baby, obviously, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, so, some of us keep some of our baby fat.
yeah.
That's what I say. And then we have beige fat. So a third type of beige fat is beige fat. It's found in white. It's actually found in white adipose tissue, but unlike white fat cells, these cells do contain UCP-1, that uncoupling protein 1. We talked about that in the brown cells, the brown fat cells. So both the brown fat and the beige fat have this. It's this mitochondrial carrier um, that generates heat. So beige fat is found in white adipose tissue, but it has this protein that is in the brown fat. Beige fat cells seem to have the flexibility to act like either white fat or brown fat, depending on the situation. And I found that in the Endocrine Connections paper. So that's just, I thought it was important that we understand more about fat, what it is, and it's the purpose it serves. So, do you have any questions? I muted you if you needed to say anything, Rose. Um, so, do you have any questions before I go on?
I had no idea that something called beige fat existed. I'd never heard of that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's actually fairly new that they discovered this, and fairly new in the science world is in the last few years. So
Yes.
that's why I like to keep, that's why I'm grateful for all of you because you keep me studying.
We keep. I had heard of brown fat always, which I thought was the fat around your stomach.
No,
Uh,
that's actually visceral fat, which is a
that,
type
but
of,
that's different. And I had never
right?
heard of other fat called white fat,
So,
nor
right.
beige fat. I had just never heard about. This is really very interesting.
Yeah. So white fat is actually the most predominant fat we have in our body. So it's like you have white fat, and then underneath that you have three subheadings, and it's the subcutaneous, which is goes underneath your skin, and then your visceral, which goes around your organs. And I just forgot what the third one is. But the one that's most concerning is the visceral because it's what coats your organs.
Yeah.
And that's where we run into trouble and why we need to do things to make sure that's in a good place. So
Okay.
what can fat do? Um, so, obesity researchers dream of finding ways to turn white fat into energy burning brown fat. But white fat is pretty neat stuff too. Beyond playing a role in providing energy storage, white adipocytes help regulate blood sugar levels. They take up sugar or glucose in response to insulin secreted by the pancreas, pulling excess sugar out of the bloodstream. That's one of the big problems with excess body fat. And again, this was in a 2006 Nature paper. Too much fat throws off the glucose regulating function of adipocytes, as does too little fat, and blood sugar levels can be thrown out of whack. Adipocytes also secrete multiple proteins that influence blood sugar, according again to the same paper. Some, such as leptin, adiponectin, and visfatin, decrease the levels of glucose in the bloodstream. Others, such as resistin and retinol binding protein 4, increase blood sugar. Fatty tissue also plays a role in the immune system. Adipocytes release inflammatory compounds called cytokines, which promote inflammation. Now, inflammation can be damaging when it's chronic, but it's crucially important for activating the immune cells in case of infection. The omentum, an apron like sheet of fat that hangs in front of the abdominal organs, is dotted with clumps of immune cells that act as hall monitors for the abdominal cavity, sampling the fluid between the organs for potential invaders, according to a 2017 research. So, again, it's really important we understand the nature of fat. Not just the fat we take in or the fat we burn, but the fat we want to keep. So, you need some fat to help you with blood sugar regulation, as well as to help with our immune response. We need that to welcome inflammation as it's needed and then to fend it off as it becomes chronic. Again, it also helps with the fat soluble vitamins as well as certain hormones. So this isn't about judging fat. It's about keeping it in its right place.
So there's a balance then. You
Absolutely.
need some fats, but not too much. Now I understand why doctors say that being overweight or obese is dangerous for your health.
Yeah.
Too much fat.
I just call it excess weight. I don't call it because there's can be self judgment and shaming when we say words like obese or fat.
Tell me
So
about it. Something I've heard
yeah.
of always, but okay, I agree with you there. So the
So
excess fat, if you have too much, it is dangerous because it causes inflammation, and there's where a lot of problems start.
yeah, it can contribute to chronic inflammation.
Yeah.
It can, and such as with blood sugar, and because you do need some inflammation. You know, if you cut yourself, you need
Hmm.
that inflammation. You need those cytokines to go in there, and they need some fat in order to work with that. Um, and so again, like you said, it's having that balance. Um, and we just
Yeah.
seem to be such a judgmental society sometimes. It's like, no, it's not right. Um, so, we were talking about babies. Well, in adulthood, the overall number of adipocytes stays stable. And that was according to a 2008 paper in the journal Nature. Most weight loss and weight gain come not from losing or gaining adipocytes, but from those cells expanding and shrinking as the energy inside is stored or burned. Adipocytes do gradually die off and get replaced, according to that study. The median turnover for fat cells is about 8.4% a year, with half of the fat cells in the body replaced every 8.3 years. So, one of the biggest misconceptions about fat is that lost fat is literally burned off as energy. What really happens is that all of the atoms in fat combine with oxygen atoms to form carbon dioxide and water. Lots of energy is released by this process, but not one atom is destroyed or converted to energy. The water from this process is excreted through urine, feces, and sweat. In a 2014 British Medical Journal paper, the carbon dioxide is exhaled through your lungs, making your respiratory system your greatest fat disposing tool. So I don't know if you saw last week, I did a Facebook Live on breathing and why that is necessary as part of
No, I didn't see it. I
fat
would.
burning. Yeah. So And I did post it, the recording of it, in last week's email. So if you want to go back, I talk about different
Well,
breathing techniques that could be helpful. So again, I'm just going to stop for a minute because I know there's a lot of science type stuff here. So it's important to know that you don't burn off or have fat cells die off and go away. You always have the same amount. It's whether they shrink or expand. That's a really big piece that I want you to understand, because so many people think they're burning off fat itself, and you're really not. But it's this action that happens with turning it into to form this carbon dioxide and water. They combine with oxygen. They form, the fat combines with oxygen. The atoms in the fat combine with oxygen atoms to form carbon dioxide and water. And so in that process, you're not creating more energy. There's energy that's released by the process, but you're not converting or destroying it into energy. So the process releases energy, but the fat itself isn't creating energy. All right. And so, and then, so you've got carbon dioxide, which is why releasing that through your lungs is important. And then the water is released through your urine, feces, or sweat. Again, that's why sweating is important. It's an
I
organ of elimination.
actually you cleared up two things with
Okay.
this, Lynn. Many years ago, I heard that when you have fat cells, they all stay around.
Mm-hmm.
They just grow fatter, and I immediately went to talk to my mother, and I said, "See, this is the result of having a chubby baby that you wanted." And and it never got worse than that. But I also had a Buddhist teacher who kept telling us that you could lose weight by breathing, and
Yeah.
we would laugh. We would say, "Yeah, right." Well, he was right, obviously.
Yep,
And
exactly.
and this is very interesting. Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So the importance of fat burning exercises. All right. First, we're going to talk about body mass index. So, like we've been talking about, carrying around too much weight, it feels uncomfortable, and it can also damage your health. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, obesity rates have skyrocketed in the United States in recent years. As of 2010, more than 1/3 of American adults were considered obese, and that's defined as having a body mass index, or BMI, of 30 or higher. Body mass is derived by dividing your weight in pounds by height in inches squared, and then multiplying the result by 703. So if you want to take a moment and do that, I will let you. Otherwise, if you don't want to do it later, that's fine.
I could see it
So
right
it's,
here.
yeah, so you multiply your weight in pounds by 703, and then you calculate your height in inches and then square it.
Forget it.
Okay, so you can go along this
Yeah,
part as
but
well.
we can see it here in the chart that you have.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, so I am actually in this range here. So I am just a little, well, wait, 20, BMI 25 to 30. No, I guess I am in the normal range. Never mind. I'm in the higher end of normal, but yeah.
Yeah, I
So
admit overweight.
this is important to know, just again as knowledge, to give you inspiration and helping with choices. So obesity can lead to a number of serious health problems, including heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and some types of cancer. One method that can help a person lose weight is to limit the number of calories taken in through their diet. The other way is to burn extra calories with exercise. Combining exercise with a healthy diet is a more effective way to lose weight than depending on calorie restriction alone. Exercise can prevent or even reverse the effects of certain diseases. Exercise lowers blood pressure and cholesterol, which may prevent a heart attack. In addition, if you exercise, you lower your risk of developing certain types of cancer, such as colon and breast cancer. Exercise is also known to help contribute to a sense of confidence and well being, thus, possibly lowering rates of anxiety and depression. Exercise is helpful for weight loss and maintaining weight loss. Exercise can increase metabolism, or how many calories you burn in a day. It can also help you maintain and increase your lean body mass, which also helps increase the number of calories you burn each day. So now we know exercise is good. How much should we exercise? So, to reap the health benefits of exercise, it is recommended that you perform some form of aerobic exercise at least 3 times a week for a minimum of 20 minutes per session. However, more than 20 minutes is better if you want to actually lose weight. Incorporating just 15 minutes of moderate exercise, such as walking 1 mile on a daily basis, will burn up to 100 calories. And that's assuming you don't consume excess calories in your diet afterwards. So, burning 700 calories a week can equal 10 pounds of weight loss over the course of a year. The total amount of exercise you engage in during a day matters more than whether or not you do it in a single session. That's why small changes in your daily routine can make a big difference in your waistline. Healthy lifestyle habits to consider include walking or riding your bike to work or while running errands, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking farther away from destinations, and walking the remaining distance. So, again, the total amount of exercise you engage in during a day matters more than whether or not you do it in a single session. Okay?
Yep.
I'm going to talk about this a couple of times, the target heart rate. To receive all of the health benefits of exercise, you'll need to mix in some higher intensity exercises to get an idea. And I'm just going to segue a second. Again, this goes back to our lungs and excreting that carbon dioxide and water mixture from that comes from our fat cells. So that's why you need some of these higher intensity exercises to help again with that breathing. So to get an idea of how hard you are working, you can check your heart rate. The basic formula for determining your target heart rate is subtract your age from 220 and then calculate 60 to 80% of that number. I encourage you to talk to a trainer or your healthcare team to help you determine your best intensity for each workout. And I'm happy to help you with that as well. Those with special health concerns, such as an injury, diabetes, or a heart condition, should consult a physician before beginning any fitness program. So now we're going to go into some examples of different workouts. So, what type of exercise to choose? The type of exercise you choose for weight loss doesn't matter as much as whether or not you're doing it right. That's why experts recommend you pick exercises you enjoy so that you'll stick to a regular routine. So we've got things like aerobic exercises, weight training, yoga, treadmill, cardio, Pilates, circuit training. Looks like Rose is outside walking. So these are just some really good ideas. Last week in my blog, I talked about athletic training and some of these forms of exercises. And I just finished writing a post on planks and how that can be an easy thing to
But
possibly add in.
but Lynn, there are certain signs of the zodiac that don't like to move.
We're going to get into this.
Please,
Yes.
because I'm one of them, okay?
Yes. Well, we'll get into this. And knowing, so sometimes we think about our astrological sign as just our sun sign. So it's really important you know where all of your planets are in your natal chart. Okay, so aerobic exercises. Aerobic exercises, no matter what exercise program you implement, it should include some form of aerobic or cardiovascular exercise. Aerobic exercises get your heart rate up and your blood pumping. Aerobic exercises may include walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, and dancing. You can also work out on a fitness machine, such as a treadmill, elliptical, or stair stepper. So this again is where finding something that you enjoy can be important, or that you can come to enjoy. So we're going to talk about the treadmill. So ideally, your treadmill will have several incline settings to choose from. If you don't have a treadmill, I don't have a treadmill. I actually just walk a lot because I live 30 miles from the closest gym. So you can use some of these ideas if you're walking. If you can go to a gym and use a treadmill, that's really great, especially around here when it's colder out. You know, getting out to walk when it's 50 below is not a good thing.
No.
So, and so we have actually talked about getting a treadmill. So, and so when you choose one, it would be great if you have one that has several incline settings to choose from. One of these settings is an interval that mimics running outdoors in various terrains. So you can have, or walking if you're not going to be running on it. So you can choose one that, so the, you'll feel the incline of what you're walking on go up and down is basically what happens. And it mimics as if you're going up a hill or down a hill, or and at various inclines. So choose the one that is most comfortable for you. The treadmill will automatically adjust through your run or walk to give you levels of incline to help you burn more calories. So again, if you find yourself on it and it's becoming uncomfortable, just be aware of it and say, okay, I just noticed that my breathing is coming stronger, or my feet are hurting or my knees are hurting, and just make adjustments as you need, and have that for future information as well, because you can fix those. So again, know your target heart rate. The target heart rate during your workout should be around 60% of the max heart rate during cool down and warm up, and then 70% during the run itself. Most treadmills will have at least a basic heart rate monitor, but more advanced options will let you put in your weight, height, and it will figure things out for you. This is vital to make sure you are getting the workout intensity that you need. And I don't have any stock in any treadmills, so now you'll see treadmills that have bars on there. If you hold on to the bars, you will not be working your whole body. In fact, you will be holding back what you need to bring to the workout. So by taking your hands off the bars, you are now working your whole body. You are working on standing up straight and running like you would outside or walking. This intensifies the workout and helps you burn more fat. So again, how it gives you a chance to see, how am I holding my body? That your posture, where's my neck? Where are my shoulders? Where's the tilt of my head, my chin? You know, where's the curve of my spine? So weight training. A big advantage of working out with weights is that in addition to shedding fat, you'll build muscle. Muscle in turn burns calories. So, you know, that's, talk about a healthy feedback loop. Experts recommend working all the major muscle groups 3 times per week. So this includes your abs, back, biceps, calves, chest, forearms, hamstrings, quads, shoulders, traps, and triceps. If you are new to weight training, then you want to make sure you are choosing the right weight from the start. Some gym professionals will tell you to start off with body weight first. That's your own body weight. And so instead of, here, I'll where am I? Let's see here. Oh, that's not it. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So instead of having a weight in your hand, just to use your hands and have a tight fist and have that constriction come in, and just use the weight in your own body. Go up against a wall and do the push-ups from the wall with your own body weight. So most experts say start with just moving your own body weight instead of having a 1 or 2 pound weight even. So
Yeah, I've heard that.
yeah, so that is you know, depending on what weight you're at. If you're at the weight that they call obese, that's really what you want to be starting with. So we'll go back to share screen. Okay. Oh, I did it too. There we go. Okay. So there is nothing worse than working out and either injuring yourself or realizing that you are using the wrong form and you aren't burning as much body fat. So the way to fix this is to find a professional and just make sure you are using the right form. So when I say form, that's how are you holding the weights in your hands? How are your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders? You know, what's your posture with your back as you're doing it? How are you bending at the knees and your hips and everything? So, and this is just, you know, using hand weights. It may not be like the figure in the slide here where you're using those standing weights. So I really encourage people when they're starting out to find somebody in person that they can go to and they can watch you and they can tweak and correct you as you're doing things. And once you're comfortable and your body has that muscle memory, then you can do it on your own. So a professional trainer We'll show you how to use the right form for the bar-based weights, the circuit weight training machines, and free weights. Using the right form means you are getting the most out of the weight training, using the muscles under the fat, and burning the fat away properly and safely. Yeah. So don't stick to just one form of weight or one exercise. For example, don't just do arm day and do a few of the same exercises. So in other words, if you're doing arm day, like in this picture here, you just move the weights up and down and up and down. You don't move them back and forth. You don't have different forms that you do with it. You want to circuit your body. This means you're doing a certain amount of reps for each focus area exercise. So for your arms, you would be working all aspects of your arms and chest. You would be doing 5 to 10 reps on each section, and then do it again for 3 or more circuits. This helps your body relax in one area while you are working another, and the whole time you are burning the most fat possible. And remember, muscle replaces fat. I'm going to take a sip here. So these are some cardio workouts. Again, cardio and your breath kind of work together. And now you understand why our breathing is so important, our respiratory function. Hold on a sec again. So spinning classes. I think they actually have a spinning class around here, and I keep saying I should check it out. Maybe this will give me more impetus. So one way that some people mix things up is by enrolling in a spinning class. Spinning classes take stationary bikes to the next level. The classes run from 30 minutes to 75 minutes. The idea behind these classes is to offer a high intensity, constant moving workout. It works your quads, core, abs, arms, calves, and hamstrings. It can be a full body workout that burns a lot of calories, which leads to fat burning as well. This is a high intensity method and is usually made for more intermediate and advanced workouts. Spinning can work off as much as 900 calories per session. That being said, you can find spinning classes that are made for your beginner level as well. Indoor rock climbing.
I hate that. I'm terrified of heights, so there's no way you're going to get me to climb a pole.
And as somebody who is also afraid of heights, they do have shorter ones. You don't have to go as far up as this young lady appears to be doing, because I have done those, and
you have,
and I have, and lived to tell it. And I was comfortable doing it because I think I went maybe 6 feet off the ground, but it was still working my body. And it's like if I go like on a nature trail walk, I may have to walk over rocks, or not climb up where I'm holding on to rocks, but I might have to hold on to a tree limb or something. So that's what I liken it to. So as you climb, you're working your entire body.
Yeah.
You are lifting your body weight, moving your arms and legs, and you are working your core. This burns calories. The higher you climb, the more intense the fat burning becomes. If you're new to indoor rock climbing, you can start with a beginner wall. That's what I did. And then move up. Haven't done that yet. This type of exercise can keep you busy and engaged for several years before you run out of what you can do indoors, and then can move it outdoors if you like.
My sons were rock climbers. They were scouts and they were rock climbers.
Yep.
And I never saw them because I will tell them I am afraid of heights. For me, I was never concerned about them. I knew that they had good trainers. and they were going to be fine.
Yeah.
I would just get weak in the knees if my
Yep.
son.
Yep.
Nope.
Totally. Yeah. I'm one of those people who can't even go near like a skyscraper, where they have those windows that you can look down. It's like, yep, nope, I'm perfectly happy. Way back. I can
Yeah,
still see out. Thank you very much.
but I know it's excellent exercise.
It can, yeah. So you do what you can. And it's the whole idea of using your own body weight to do something. So now we have yoga and Pilates. Yoga is not as intense as other types of exercise, but it can help you lose weight in other ways. And this was according to a recent study by researchers at the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center. The study found that people who practice yoga are more mindful about what they eat and therefore less likely to be obese. Again, what's the main focus of yoga? It's the breath. So you are releasing some fat as you practice the breathing. Hot yoga. Hot yoga is one of the leading yoga methods that offers a full body workout, cleansing of toxins, and fat burning exercise. Hot yoga classes are set at 104 degrees in the room. This helps you to sweat more, which purges more toxins from your body during the workout. And again, we learned that that's one of the ways that excess water that is produced when with the breathing, with the mixing of the fat and the oxygen, and so you need to sweat. The humidity is also set high for the room. You will work through over 60 different motions through the workout. By the end, you have worked your entire body as well as built your cardio and purged your system of toxins. Pilates. There's a fine line in the yoga community, with half the people stating that Pilates is not real yoga, while the other half stating that it is yoga, just in a different form. Pilates stands out because it uses different instruments during the workout. So if you want something that incorporates traditional yoga but adds a twist on the process, then this may be ideal for you. Again, think planking. And if you want to later go to my website, you'll see where I show the proper form for planking, even if you do it for 30 seconds. Kundalini yoga. This is the yoga that I practice most frequently. Kundalini yoga requires your body weight resistance, and your mind. Ideally, if you are looking for a form of yoga that will burn fat and give you a full body workout while helping you with meditation and body awareness, then this is it. Kundalini focuses on full body awareness through meditation and body movement. You've heard me talking about circuit training here, so we're going to talk about that. Each machine works a different part of the body, and each has a set of weights for you to set the right weight for your workout. In other words, there's no proper circuit or right machine to start with. You just pick one of the end machines and you get started. The idea is to work through each machine at least 3 times. You can increase the weight during each round or leave it where it is. So if you go somewhere like a gym and you'll see they have what's called a circuit of machines, you just start with one of the machines and you work on that and you finish that, and then you go to the next machine, and then you do that and you go through that about 3 times. And if you want to keep the weight where you had it, you can do that. If you want to increase it, you can do that as well. You want to have some resistance with the weights. If the workout is too easy, you aren't going to get the benefit that you are looking for. If it is too hard, you will cause damage to your body. So start slow, work up the levels. Also keep in mind that you can change the weight for legs and arms. So for example, if you have more strength in your legs, you may want a higher weight for your legs than your arms. Focus on the circuit, pay attention to your body, and take the warning signs your body is giving you if there is an issue that could lead to injury. If you feel too strained, lower the weight intensity. So here we go, the energetics behind belly fat.
So Lynn, where's a good place to start?
Well, what are you doing right now, Rose?
Lynn, I'm going to be really honest. I haven't been doing anything since January. You know,
Okay.
my hemoglobin got down to 6
Mm-hmm.
and I barely had air.
Right.
I had a hard time just drying myself off after the shower, and I was dizzy.
Yep.
And I could barely get one foot in front of the other. And 2 weeks ago, I just had my 5th transfusion.
Okay.
I'm still bleeding somewhere, but they haven't been able to find where.
Found it? Interesting.
No. And so I'm tired a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've spent a lot of time on the couch. But
So-
I feel like I need to get moving, but just
Yeah.
walking sometimes is just hard because it takes
Right.
my air.
Well, then you have just even getting up. There's that adrenal issue that happens just standing up as you change position.
Yeah.
And so you can do some yoga exercises while you're sitting. If you can sit on the couch or sit on the floor, either one is fine. But just find some different yoga poses. So if you're laying on the couch, even just lifting your legs up so that, here, you can't see me, I forgot. There we go. So if you're laying on the floor, just lift your legs up. And,
Okay.
you know, just that's legs, and that's really good for your digestion. It's called legs up against the wall. Your legs don't have to be up against the wall, but just lifting them up is really good for your digestion. You know, and if you can work your core, you can lift them up and down. You can also bend your knees, you know, so you're bringing your knees in towards your chest and just doing that.
Okay.
You can take your arms and just put them up, you know, like again, if you're laying down, your arms will just go up and down, and clench your fists as you're doing it. And so like, pretend like you're fighting against them coming down.
Okay. Like some resistance.
Like resistance, exactly. So just start with that and see how that works.
Okay.
If with your arms you're feeling some strength, like, okay, this is kind of easy, then take like some cans or something that you can put your hands around easily and gives you just a little bit of weight, and then do that. Because getting that workout with your heart can be helpful. But again, pay attention so that, you know, especially since you have some bleeding going on somewhere, you want to make sure you don't overdo your heart. And it's extremely important that you pay attention to your breath. So as you're doing these things, you're going to breathe in and breathe out. So okay, and you know, breathe. And sometimes even just starting with breathing exercises is important, so you become familiar with your breath. So putting your hands on your belly.
Good idea.
So you become familiar with that. And how your body feels as you're breathing is really important. And then again, pay attention to your heartbeat during this time as you do these things.
Yeah, because just to go grocery shopping right now is really tiring for me. And I think it's the walking.
Yeah.
But I'm also feeling like somehow I need to get more oxygen in my blood. And I'm not sure how to do that without with
Right.
ending up with not feeling like I have enough air.
Right. So again, if you got my email from last week, there's a YouTube video link in there I did from the Facebook Live, or you can go on the Facebook page and look. But I talk about different breathing techniques.
Oh, that was breathing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it because I haven't been on Facebook and I've missed all of that, Lynn.
That's okay. It's
So,
all right.
Yeah, that will be a good thing for me to watch then too.
Yeah, that can be really helpful. And I'm probably going to do, I also have been doing Qigong. And so tomorrow I'll probably do another Facebook Live showing some basic, simple Qigong exercises.
Lynn, may I say something here that after my knee and my hip surgery, the doctor's physical therapist told me that because I had 2 major surgeries within 3 months and I was in such bad shape and I had broken my hip and the whole story, the whole kit and caboodle. She said that she thought that for me, under those circumstances, it would be best if I did not go to the gym. And she explained it this way. She said, when you're on the treadmill, it's very nice and it's very comfortable and you're inside. She says, but because the treadmill is moving back, it is pushing your foot up.
Right, right.
But you're walking in the street, and I was walking with a walker, okay? So
Yeah.
she said, even if you're walking with a walker, it helps a lot more if you're doing it without the machine, even if it's just to the corner and back.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she didn't say anything about walking fast or anything.
Yep.
So she said, when you're tired, if you can walk a little bit and just do the best you can because, like you said, using your own body weight
Yep.
is the best thing. She also told me to go against the wall and all of
Yep.
everything that you said. The only different thing that she added was the treadmill. She said the treadmill helps for people who are walking for a lot, but if you're walking a little bit, because
Yeah.
it's moving back, your foot automatically moves up. So it's not you doing the effort. It's the treadmill doing it for you. So it literally is better if you walk for a few minutes on the street. I don't know if you agree to that or not.
No, I personally prefer people to walk outside. But doing the treadmill is better than
They're not doing
anything.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah. So, and some people just don't live in a place that's conducive to being outside and walking. So, I think that's why a lot of people do that. They have those machines in their house.
Now, the good thing about, well, yeah, in your house, the gym is nice because you meet people there, and it's nice to talk about the exercise.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also being where you're at, and that's why knowing your target heart rate and paying attention to your breath are primary things to do.
The only way you can figure out that, on the treadmill, it's good because you're holding on and it is telling you what your heart rate is.
Yeah.
And so that is a big advantage.
Yeah, you can just plug that in there and it'll keep you there. But I've given you the formulation so you can figure it out for yourself.
I figured it out right now.
Yeah, and just
I guess it's
great
that I've ever tried it, but oh well, I'm way behind on exercises too, Rose. You're not the only one.
Oh yeah. No.
Well, yeah, because somebody else recommended Tai Chi, saying that it was really easy on your joints, but I don't have really good balance right now, and I still get dizzy. So, I don't think I can do that movement in standing.
Right. And so there again, paying attention to what your own body is telling you. And so, but some movement is better than no movement at all. And even if that movement is mindful breathing as you breathe in and you breathe out, and just pay attention to that breathing and pay attention to the message of your heart.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I was going to the gym 4 times a week but I don't
Wow.
have the strength to do those machines.
Yeah.
I already know that I physically can't do them right now, but I want to start something
Good
somewhere.
for you. Good for you. Well, I think,
You're gonna do
yeah,
well with that attitude. It's very good,
absolutely.
great attitude.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah. And just practice that breathing. I think that's really important. Um, and, you know, when we're talking about the lungs and the heart, that's all in the heart chakra. And,
Okay.
you know, understanding the heart chakra and again, asking yourself, what is it you're trying to tell me, can help with that. So lungs are the seat of grief in Chinese medicine. So again, say, is there any unresolved grief here? It doesn't mean you're going to start pouring out tears or whatever, but it's letting your body know that you are safe and it's okay to express any grief that may not be resolved. Our brain may think everything's okay, but our body holds on.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it holds on to these emotions and it's energy. And so as you work with your body to relieve that, that can be a really good thing. And so that I'm going to talk about the solar plexus chakra here, because most of us that have weight tend to have it in the belly. And
I do.
well, I'm the same way. So understanding these key insights will allow you basically to get on with your day because our mind can get in there and play crazy games. And so if you understand these things, it helps you to be aware of the games that your mind might be playing. So, so we're going to talk about the energetics behind belly fat. The solar plexus, which is the belly area, is the home of a powerful energetic center. It's called Manipura, the Manipura chakra, as well as the solar plexus chakra.
Yes.
Manipura is the Sanskrit name for it.
Manipura.
Yep.
Manipura.
Many ancient healing practices note that this is the center of one's power. It's also known as prana or chi. Oops, hold on a second. There we go. So this energetic center is to be the epicenter of our self-will, empowerment, and our ability to fully show up in the world. When this area is energetically blocked, we feel stuck, unable to fully express our potential, and feel powerless over our lives. Often when we feel stagnant or feel heavy in the belly area, we are experiencing an energetic block, which inhibits our power from flowing forth and causes us to feel like we aren't living to our true potential. I'm just gonna stop my video for a second. There we go. What we may have experienced as, I really need to lose weight, may really be your intuitive messages getting lost in translation. So what might your body really be expressing? When we learn to listen deeper, it might sound more like, I'm stuck, I'm not living as the person I want to be, I feel powerless, I doubt myself, I want to change, but fear that I can't. No wonder we feel a sense of feeling stuck or weighed down when we tap into this part of ourselves. You know, if this sounds a little too woo, consider this. In a study on stress-induced cortisol response and fat distribution in women, researchers found that belly fat in women is directly linked to cortisol excretion. Cortisol is a stress hormone that triggers the body to store fat. So you've got stress, which leads to cortisol release, which leads to belly fat storage. What they also noted was that women with higher belly fat were more likely to feel overwhelmed and helpless in the face of external stressors and showed less outward anger than women with lower belly fat. which indicates that suppressed emotions and stress caused by the inability to change your external circumstances is linked with stored belly fat. So the bottom line is exerting more power in your life and decreasing the stress will help you lose body fat. So another component of this is belly fat is a buffer between the real you and the world.
Yeah.
A great way to keep ourselves stuck is to indulge in an epic struggle with food and weight. So you heard that right. When we are constantly focused on weight loss or changing our physical body, we don't need to deal with the bigger stuff like what's not being said in our relationship or what's missing in our lives. So holding on to physical weight can often dull the intensity of living as your most vibrant self. It keeps you small and helps things feel safe and predictable. Because I've seen this happen over and over again with my clients, I've developed a theory on this. Your belly fat is proportionate to the extent you distance your deepest desires from the world.
That's true.
So, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is what when I was working with Dr. Rita Marie and I started taking care of the diabetes, I lost the weight without meaning to.
Yep.
Without even thinking about it. It just
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. Because the more we live a life out of alignment with our potential, the more fat we accumulate. And time again, when I witness my clients living bigger in their lives, their belly fat gets smaller and smaller. So you might be saying, wait a second, come on, isn't this about calories in and out? And so in a way, yes,
Yeah, but
the more full you feel in your life, the less you fill up on bagels, donuts, and ice cream. Do you want desperately to leave your job, to have a more intimate relationship, to live more wild and free, to just be able to go to the grocery store? Where might you be unconsciously harboring a dream or desire that you have yet to share with the world? The more I stayed in a job I hated and allowed stress to overtake my life, the more I ate the bagels. Obviously, this is before Dr. Rita Marie. And I gained weight.
Yeah.
Yet every time I looked in the mirror, I told myself I needed to lose the belly fat before my life would get better. It turns out that I had it wrong for all those years. My life didn't suck because I was fat. I was fat because my life sucked.
Because that's very true. Yes.
Yeah.
Fat is protection. Protection
Yep.
against, I don't know, against ourselves sometimes.
Exactly. And the third thing to talk about here is we desire core strength. So this might sound a little silly, but for my whole adolescent to adult life, I wanted a flat-toned belly. In that number of years, guess how many times I actually committed to doing more than 2 days in a row of crunches or core strengthening exercise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably 0. So as it turns out, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Often when we look at a flabby part of our body, we wish it to be different, but we aren't doing anything about it. The fastest way to lose belly fat is to start taking action now. You can't burn belly fat or any other places that you want to trim and tone up by thinking about it in your mind. You know, if you think in your mind, oh, the burn, you know, that's that transformation from matter to energy. That's what's happening when you move. You're taking the matter of the excess fat to burn it into energy, and it comes from taking action. So it turns out that the disconnect between insight and action is enough to make us feel defeated, let down, and trapped. And so when we go back and think about the other reasons we were talking about, we see how we end up here. And that's why we need to change this quick. We think we want a slender midsection, but what we really want is to have trust in ourselves, to know that we are capable of getting what we want, that we have the power to change, and that we can follow through on our commitment. So belly fat can be a reminder that we've let ourselves down. And when that reflects back to us in the mirror, we often don't like what we see. So let's put an end to this now, shall we? So here are 3 simple exercises to lose belly fat fast while strengthening your core from the inside out. Plus the third one, just by switching your posture, can have you look like you just lost 10 pounds. So the first thing is to connect to your core power. Write down 3 goals that you have for your life. What do you dream of? What do you desire? What do you want your life to stand for? Who do you want to be? And then take that vision and choose 1 to 3 things you can do this week to move you in that direction. They do not need to be huge. Again, Rose, you were saying, I can't even walk it's hard for me to walk at the grocery store. So you can choose something like that. You can choose something that says, I'm going to move. I'm going to move my breath. And so it can be as simple or as big. You can have a bigger vision, but that won't be for this week. That might be for the end of the year. But right now, this week, what is a goal you can have? The second thing is turn insight into action. Elevate your energy, remove old blocks, and re-inhabit your strength and power. And it's really nice if you can burn belly fat in the process. So this is where we breathe deeply into your belly, allow it to fully release and expand. So you don't worry about who will see you. You know, we have this thing about keeping our bellies flat. So you deep breathe into your belly, let it just expand, that breath in your belly. And then you flex your ab muscles. All right. Feel this part of you getting stronger. Just flex that. Feel the heat, the energy, the transformation that you are creating right now, this very second. Know that you are getting stronger every day. How will you commit to strengthening this part of you daily? How can you show it some loving attention rather than shaming it? Can you do 20 sit-ups before you go to bed and when you wake up? And if you do 1, start with 1. If you can do it. If you can do leg lifts, that's a core exercise. So again, this isn't about necessarily burning calories. It's about strengthening the core of your potential. How will you take action to create the strength you desire? Everything that happens physically happens first, spiritually and energetically. The next one is we're gonna harness your energy. So I'm gonna stop my share for a second here so you can see me doing this one. And I should start my video. There we go. So this one is, let's see, I might have to push this down a little bit. So when how we hold our pelvis is really important. So with this one, you're going to put your pelvis forward and just let your belly out. Yeah. Okay. So just, all right. Because most women tilt their pelvis forward when they're standing. That makes your belly spill out. you're also spilling out your energy when you do that. So we're going to zip it up so you can engage and harness your solar plexus energy, which is again right in here, and look long and slim through your midsection. So take a deep breath and let your belly completely out. Okay, I'm really pushing it here. Okay, next, stand tall. Okay, keep a slight bend in your knees. You don't want it locked. And then tilt your pelvis straight. Okay, so we're going like this. And then you're going up. See? Going, tilt your pelvis out, so your belly is going out. And then up. See how it just, everything just kind of went flat? Just with the tilt of your pelvis? And that is actually a really good core strengthening exercise. When you're doing that, go up again. So when you're doing that, you want to engage your core muscles as you're doing that. Watch how your shoulders, roll back your shoulders, okay? And you want to extend your tailbone down a little bit. So you're going out and then extending your tailbone, roll your shoulders back, okay? Pay attention to how you're holding your body. Just that act can burn calories. All right. And when you do that tilt, you can even just take a little walk around the room, holding yourself there, and see how that feels. We don't often think about how we're holding our body. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen again. This is where it was, yeah. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the astrology of exercise. Planets for obesity and weight. So obesity is nothing but high fat content in the body, which is mother of many diseases. Obesity can bring depression in your life too, which can again lead you to overeating. So the planets for obesity, I shouldn't say obviously, but Jupiter first in mind comes to being overweight. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It signifies the fats in our body. Venus is the planet of comfort and luxury. This is kind of what you may be talking, you may want to look at where Venus is in your natal chart, Beatrice. If Venus is too strong in your horoscope, or most of your planets are in what's called Venus Nakshatra in Vedic astrology, it may make you a foodie or overindulgent in foods and drinking. So those are two planets you want to look at to see where they're at. Just because they're there doesn't, it's like your genes, doesn't mean you can't do anything about it. It just helps you understand more about your natural desires. And we have the planets for weight loss. So Saturn. Saturn is the planet for shrinking. And that's the exact opposite to Jupiter. Mostly Saturnine people are skinny. So people who have a strong influence of Saturn in their lives. That's why maximum Aquarius people are tall and slim. So association of Saturn with most of the planets, or Saturn in your 5th and 6th house, can give you a slim waistline naturally. Again, it doesn't mean that you can't. It might mean that you have to work on it a little harder. And then we have Mars. This planet has nothing to do with fats or overeating, but it does have with the burning of fats. So the burning of fats depends on the planet Mars, understanding where that is. So doing vigorous exercise, creating body heat by regular exercise is all the effect of Mars. So definitely slimming down or burning fats depends on powerful Mars. So here's some astrological tips for weight loss. For slimming, you need to activate malefic Saturn, who can shrink your body. So what that means is you stop your meal when 2/3 of your stomach is full. This kind of deactivates that Saturn influence. When you're taking charge here and you're saying, okay, I'm not full, but I'm feeling content. This will keep you hungry for a while because after all, hunger belongs to Saturn. Another malefic planet is Mars, which we don't want to give much power to in this instance. So to create positive Martian energy in life, you want to fix a time in your everyday schedule for eating. So in other words, reducing weight is nothing but bringing balance between Saturn and Mars energy in your life. Never have a cold meal. Have a warm meal and warm water too. That will create the warmth of Mars in your body. Avoid wearing gold if you're obese. So, because even though Jupiter is beneficent in your horoscope, that can affect your weight loss.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. Again, this is where knowing where your planets are can make a difference. Do not wear yellow sapphire. That can give you thyroid problems, especially if Jupiter is already giving you trouble. If Jupiter is in your 8th house, that can give a tendency for overeating, and it will be hard to sustain hunger. But Jupiter is the planet of optimism and hope, so you just can't stop Jupiterian energy in your life. So the best part is to show gratitude in your life. Be grateful to God for whatever he gave you, and that's when slowly Jupiter may stop inducing its expansive energy in you. Jupiter is the only slim fit planet who is well aware of nutrition. So intake more green substance every day. That can make your Mercury wiser, keep you evergreen with your zeal high, and tune your life with the Mercurian slogan, Go Green.
This is complicated, Lynn.
Well,
This,
you say that again?
This is complicated. All these planets and where they are and in what house and everything.
Well, and the more you work with it, the more it makes sense. So just take some time and know that it's a part of the equation.
So what did you say about Jupiter? Because that's the only one I found right now.
Okay, so Jupiter, here, I'll put it back here. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and it signifies the fats in our body. Okay, and so
I'm not happy about this. I have Jupiter in the 4th house.
Okay, so that's fine.
That's okay?
That part's okay. So yeah, it's your 8th house that it will have you into overeating.
In the 4th house.
8th house. So if it's in the 8th house, if you have Jupiter in your 8th house,
no,
that will give you, yeah. So yours is in the 4th house, so you're okay.
Okay. Oh my God, oh my God, I'm gonna have to listen to the show over and over and over again.
Well, again, next time because I know you've talked about setting some time up, we can always bring some of that into it too.
Yeah. All I know is that I'm a Taurus, And you never see bulls running through the fields just for the joy of running. You see
No,
them
but they like to be. They like to be with their feet firm in the earth.
firm on the ground under a tree where it's nice and cool if possible. That's what they like.
Well, yeah. So with their sun sign in Taurus, what it's saying is that you take things at a more leisurely pace.
Oh,
So
definitely.
so doing certain yoga poses and a yoga flow can help
Yeah.
you, especially if it keeps you closer to the ground.
To the ground, yes.
Oh,
Drive everyone else in my family crazy.
well,
Yeah.
that's up to them, right?
Such is life.
Yeah.
Such is life.
So before you start an exercise program, this is what you do first. You talk to your doctor before you start a new exercise program, especially if you're planning on doing vigorous exercise. And this is especially important if you have heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, kidney disease, or arthritis. People who have been very inactive for recent months, who are overweight, or have recently quit smoking should also talk to their doctors before starting a new exercise program. When you are first starting a new exercise program, it's important to pay attention to the signals your body is giving you. You should push yourself so that your fitness level improves. However, pushing yourself too hard can cause you to injure yourself. Stop exercising if you start to experience pain or shortness of breath. So let's wrap her up. So if you're ready to burn fats, you can email me at lynn@feedingyourhealth.com or go to my website and schedule a free consultation. There we go.
This was really good, Lynn. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you
I
free on
know it.
Friday?
Well, go to my website and click on the link, and it'll.
I
You
will
can
go
just
to your
you
website
can
and
just you can just schedule right from there, and it'll show you what's available. And it's
okay.
free. It's 30 minutes. It's free. It just gives us a chance to check on what your goals are and if I can be of help. So whether it's burning fat or anything else.
So what
Right.
what can you substitute for greens?
Well, so not all greens are the same. So like if somebody has an oxalate issue, and this is where I like to do the Viome test, because it's a stool test, because it tells you if you may have an oxalate issue, but you can still do some of these greens because it cultures against the actual activity in your body, how your body actually responds. Because when you look at the list of high oxalate foods, you're going, oh well, and that's why I like that test. That being said, you don't, especially if you have an issue with oxalates, and this is the other piece to that you get from the Viome test or other stool tests, is that you see what bacteria, probiotics you actually have in your body. It's not that there's anything wrong with the food, it's that your body's not producing the right microbiome bacteria to process and digest it.
Okay.
And so if you've been eating high oxalate food, you do not want to go automatically and reduce them, because then you'll get what's called oxalate dumping, and that's fairly painful. So you need
I got that already.
Yeah, so you need to do it slowly. And usually I tell people and nutritionists tell people this too, you want to maintain 50 to 100 milligrams of oxalate a day. That's an okay number for you to have. And so when I work with people, we just look at what they can do. what foods are available, low to moderate, focusing on the low to moderate. And then if they've done the Viome test, then we can look at what their superfoods are and what they enjoy, the minimize and the avoid. And then we do things to increase the Oxalobacter formigenes bacteria in your body. There is not a probiotic that is just Oxalobacter formigenes, but knowing what bacteria you have in your body so that we can choose the right probiotic, because you may have enough lactobacillus, but you need more bifidobacteria or whatever else is going on there.
So do you go back to eating the greens and the nuts and the seeds and the stuff to do that test?
No. You don't have to do any special. You don't have to do anything special. Because they test off the RNA, which is the activity of the DNA in your gut. Because all of those little microbes have their own DNA. But just like our body has DNA that are triggered by certain events, their DNA has activity that's triggered by certain events, and that's called the RNA. And so that's what they test. Okay, so you've got these microbes. What are they doing?
They're making kidney stones for me, and then I had to get surgery.
Yeah, not a fun thing. So again, it has to do with keeping that in a good place and helping.
And the doctor has everything circled on here for kale and chard and, power greens and nuts and seeds and everything that I eat.
Yep. And so that's where I think doing the Viome test could be really helpful for you, to find out what actually your body is responding to. Because otherwise you've got a list that's a generic. It's like this is based on what we've noticed from everybody else. But your Rose and your body is different. So what works and doesn't work for Rose? You can do things like parsley, maybe endive, romaine. Arugula should be okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think when I've worked with people. We've done black-eyed peas and chickpeas. Yeah.
Well, I started just eating more carbs, like, rice and stuff like that. And then I started gaining weight. So and I'm not so happy with that.
Yep.
Because I was eating basically, 2 salads a day with tons of stuff in it, radishes and even green beans is on that list that I can't eat. And I buy them by the case because it is my favorite vegetable. Mm-hmm. So the dogs are benefiting my green beans. And when I warm them up to give them dinner, I look at that and I go, man, this is wrong.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah. Well, right now that's the way things look or feel, but you can change things, right? You can change things. And
even berries are on there. No berries, no strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, nothing. No berries. And that's what I was putting in my cocoa yogurt.
That's interesting. So again, it has to do with, because I have low oxalate fruits. I have blueberries, strawberries.
Well, on the list he gave me, those are high oxalate fruits, and I'm not supposed to eat those.
Oh, interesting.
And I can have green grapes, but not purple grapes. So what's wrong with purple?
Well, they have a different amount of resveratrol Now, I do know that raspberries are a high oxalate food. Let's see. Bless me.
Bless you.
Thank you. So, like as an example, I gave somebody just like a meal plan, and I said chickpea scramble for breakfast. And they had a Greek salad with cucumbers, tomatoes, raw organic goat cheese with a vinaigrette dressing. And it was basically like romaine and arugula and things like that. And then for dinner, they had lentil chili and sliced pineapple for dessert.
That's good.
So, that's just an idea of,
Okay. I was
because-
just reaching for the list that he gave me to look to see about that. Cause see, there's no green beans waxed or dried, no beets, no celery, no cucumbers, chives, no dandelion greens, no kale, no mustard greens. Parsley is on his high oxalate list is parsley, peppers, sweet potatoes, spinach, squash.
I'd love to know where he's getting his list from.
It says, there was a website on one of these pages here. American Dietetic Association.
Oh, well, there you go. Sorry.
I know, but I'm trying to follow what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then it says no berries, no purple grapes, no lemon, lime, orange, rhubarb, tangerine, or juices made from those fruits.
Well, I look at different lists, and it's really pretty interesting.
So I should just get a different list.
Well, you can
maybe
go
I can
online and
find
find
one that
so
I
many
like.
different things.
I think the biome test is the one we all have to have. That sounds really good.
Yeah, because it will tell you exactly.
At least, Lynn, there's several levels to that. Do we just get the basic one first, or what?
The biome test?
Yes.
Well, if you want to do it, reach out to me because I can give you a link and a code so you can at least save $10. I know it's $10, but that's something.
$10 is always a savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the gut intelligence test and the health intelligence test. The health intelligence includes the gut test. I usually have people start with the gut intelligence test just to, because that needs to be taken care of.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I tell people. As far as testing goes, it's one of the more inexpensive tests.
So where can I get a better list?
Well,
I'm thinking maybe I'll just look for a list of one that I like.
Yes.
Because this is really hard for me because it just took away everything that I ate every day.
Well, so this is the thing, is you don't want just a list, because when you follow a low oxalate diet, you're not purely restricted to low oxalate foods. It's the total consumption that matters. So you want to keep your oxalate intake, honestly, like around 50 milligrams a day. And so if you know the actual oxalate level of foods, then you can decide that. It's that portion size. So like green peppers on my list are a low oxalate food. There's 5 milligrams if you have half a cup. Mustard greens in my list are actually a low oxalate vegetables.
And it's high here.
Yeah, well, 1 cup is 4 milligrams on the oxalate level. Yellow squash is 4 milligrams in half a cup. Cucumber, half the cucumber is 2 milligrams. Kale, a cup of kale is 2 milligrams. Bok choy, 1 cup is 1 milligram. A half a cup of cabbage is 1 milligram.
I like your list.
Well, and like I said, it's keeping it to that amount and then seeing how am I feeling,
Okay.
Because
my oxalate level is 63, said it's way too high and I need to get down to 40.
So where is he getting this from? What is he?
The only handout that I have here is for the.
But is it what kind of test did he do to get that level?
I'm looking here it was a 2-day urine test.
Was it an organic acid test?
He just sent me another one in the mail to redo here soon. It's a kidney stone urine panel. And it tests calcium, creatinine, citrate, phosphorus, pH, sodium, urine nitrogen, oxalate, chloride, ammonium, magnesium, potassium, uric acid, sulfate, qualitative cysteine, and timed collection.
Right. So he's actually testing like the byproducts. He's not actually testing to see what is in your system as far as the bacteria. And it's not that that's bad. It's just that would, to me, that's like another layer down to find out what's going on. There are certain genetics where it's harder to produce certain bacteria. So if you have the one that it's harder to produce oxalobacter, that you're going to always have to take certain probiotics and be careful with oxalate type foods.
Do you know what SNP that is to look for?
Not right off. Let me see if I can find it here real quick.
Because I did do the genetic detoxification and I also bought the book.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. It's not in here. It's not there that I can see right offhand. Let me look at one other place real quick.
So I'm looking for bacteria.
Well, it would be good to know what bacteria is actually creating this issue. So oxalates share the same transporters as sulfation and glutathione. And glutathione is a sulfur-based molecule. And without glutathione, which is your own body's master antioxidant, you're susceptible to oxidative stress and diseases. Let's see. I'm looking to see if it says anything here. About the SNP. I'm not seeing anything right offhand. But it's just good to know there's more than just
more than just one thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, DAO genes.
DAO?
When you have DAO genes, one of DAO's biological process is the glyoxylate metabolic process. So if you have some variations in DAO SNPs, that can compromise you as far as oxalate or being higher at risk for hyperoxaluria. And just know that consuming GMO could make that part worse.
Well, I pretty much have been eating organic for the last couple of years now.
Wonderful.
I have a lot of my friends all said, how do you afford it?
Well,
said, I listened to a webinar one time and I heard a doctor say you either pay the pharmacy or the farmer. And I decided I was going to pay the farmer.
Exactly. Exactly.
That put it into perspective for me.
Yeah. And there's a really nice, lovely section in the genetic detoxification book on the DAO gene. So, look to see if you have that. And you can look in here, and she's got some good ideas. So, that's why I'm kind of taking this year and making each month a theme.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Well, because there's so much to understand, and I'm trying to.
And it's not like it's very, very straightforward for people that aren't used to,
I know, and I'm trying to make it a little more understandable, but keep your eyes open. I am putting together a membership program where we will be doing things like this more regularly. And there's a portion of that you can choose just to do the straight membership, or you can include one private coaching call a month with it. So
that's nice.
So I'm working on that, but I'm not going to tell anybody when it's going to happen yet, because I don't want to put that pressure on myself. I've done that, and I want to walk my walk, walk my talk. So, but I just want to put that out there. But for now, you've got some good information to start with, and make things as easy as you can in your life. So as you start, like I was talking before, as you write down, what do I want? What's my goal? Then the choices that you make for yourself coming up from that place will be right for you. Just because I do something, or Dr. Rita Marie does something, or some other expert does something, doesn't mean it's right for you.
You understand, Lynn, that whatever we say, it's not only physical. Whatever our goal is, it cannot be only physical.
Exactly.
Because that takes care of the bottom rung of the ladder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we have to go a little bit higher, don't we? When you started talking about the solar plexus, is when I said, okay, here we are. And then you were
exactly.
talking. Yeah.
Exactly.
Will there be a replay on that? Because I really would like to hear that part over.
Yeah, this has all been recorded. And so when I get the recording of this, then I upload it into YouTube. And then I'm getting ready to send out my weekly email. And so I'll include that in here.
Okay, I've missed a lot because the last 2 weeks I have been in and off of Facebook, and it's usually the first 3 things, and that's it.
Sure, that's okay. Well, that's why I put some things in the newsletter. So if you just look at
I'll look at the newsletters. I'll check them all out.
Yeah, just search under Lynn at feedingyourhealth.com. And
okay, but I do want to listen to that again, because it was very important, and I thought it was very deep and very well done.
Thank you.
There was just too many things coming at me at the same time. I need to hear them 3 times anyway before I understand them. So
that's okay. And that's why part of the membership is having that recording, and it will be much easier to access. You won't have to go looking through emails.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So that was important.
Does 23andMe not do DAO?
They used to.
Because I'm looking through my filter from the genetic detoxification report, and there's no DAO in here.
Okay, well that might mean that you're okay there.
Oh, okay.
Because not all the genes are, you just may not have that, which means you're okay.
But they did a whole section on blood clotting genes, and I'm okay in every one of those, and they reported that.
Well, it's whether you have that gene, I guess is what I'm saying. So not everybody has that genetic SNP.
Okay.
So you may be homozygous for the for all the other SNPs, and so you'll get the green. But you have that, so that's why.
I got green on all of the blood clotting genes.
Good. That's good, especially with what's going on.
I'm happy for that because I had a blood clot in December. That's how this all started. I was taking medicine for the blood clot. So,
yeah, it probably saved your life.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Yeah, me too. So, you know, this is all just information. It's going to help you little by little. You get to choose to make decisions every day from the moment you wake up and take your first breath to the time you go to bed. Well, not your first breath, but I mean your first conscious breath.
Right.
And so that's what this is about. But it's really important that you have an understanding of what kind of life you want.
Yeah.
And so that's why I included that, because like Beatrice was saying, the messages that are in our body, and some of them are trapped, show up on our physical body.
Right.
And so understanding yourself and knowing especially that you're safe. So that for me is also important, is that you feel safe when you're with me and you're listening to me.
Carolyn Myss always said that your biology is your biography. I think that's correct.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not your biography. Yeah, it's your biology is your biography. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And the thing is, so emotions are just energy. And we can either keep them trapped in our body, and then they create biochemical reactions, or we can recognize them and say, okay, I'm okay now, and you can leave if you choose.
Yeah.
But because it's energy, it's not destroyed. It leaves our body.
It stays. Yeah.
To be we bless it as it leaves, because then it's transmuted to gold, as I call it. It can be positive energy then to bless somebody else. So an energy that makes you uncomfortable can be changed by your blessing it to bless somebody else.
Good point.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's why meditation is so important for the world. It's not just a fun thing to do. It's through that you are releasing the energy into something positive.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm having a power green salad tonight.
All right. Well, have a little bit and see how you do, because we don't want no oxalate dumping happening on Rose.
Well, I went to quit, and it's true. My joints all hurt. So if I go back and eat some, will it get better?
Well, so you quit and your joints, so you could have some oxalate dumping, because oxalates can also affect your joints.
Yep.
So if you just stopped, then you have all these oxalate crystals dumping, and you're going to feel them in your joints. You can get Charlie horses. You can get.
I've been doing that.
Yeah. So you gave up too much at once. So have just a little bit.
And my knees hurt and my hips hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gave up too much at once. And so it's all dumping out.
And I miss my juice. See, I made green juice every day with kale and cucumber and celery and apple and lemon and ginger root. And that ginger root is like gold for me.
Yeah.
And my body is actually missing it. I mean, it's like it's like,
So have a
my God knows
conversation.
I'm not doing that anymore, but all those things are on the list. The kale, the cucumbers, the celery, and the lemon, and it's like, okay.
I have never, let's see, I'm looking at my list. Um, so low oxalate foods. Limes are on there.
Also,
Um,
I should just switch to lime instead of lemon.
you could do lime. Cucumber is on my low oxalate. Again, it's just half of a cucumber.
He
Kale.
did say I could have cucumbers if I peel them.
Okay, so well, and if you're juicing them, that's fine because you really don't juice the cucumber or the peel. But
Depends on the juicer, Lynn.
that's true. But it's only half of one. Kale, again, it's just a cup. That's a crazy, that's like, you know, I'm going to be a breatharian. What they're wanting you to do is eat a lot of meat. And it's not that I'm against meat. It's
And
just,
but
And
that
I'm not used to eat. I still eat meat, but you know, I wasn't eating meat every day.
you need to, you know who, what's her name? Dr. Terry Walls is.
Yes, I do, because she cured herself of MS.
Exactly. So I would actually get a hold of her book and just start looking at some of that because she talks about having a plate where you eat like organ meats especially, but then you have, what'd she say, like 2 pounds of vegetables a day. And and that's, it's which vegetables to do, but it's really important to make sure that you don't just stop the oxalate foods because you are having experiences of dumping. You'll get more sand in your eyes might crust over, again, the joints, vulvodynia, so UTIs, things like that, Charlie horses, those are all signs of dumping. So when you do this, you have to do it slowly to allow your body to regulate itself.
Yeah, well, I was just given this list and it was like, here's all these things. And he was asking me what I eat. And so then he started circling on this list, you know, and he said, and here's what you need to be staying away from. So that's what I did.
Yeah, nope, and it's understandable because that's what he told you to do. No, you can have some. It's just you just can't overdo it, is what it comes down to. So it has to do with total consumption. Like I say, start with about 50 milligrams a day. So with planning, you can actually eat foods with medium levels of oxalate.
Okay.
So it's just,
well, I think I liked that better.
The other piece to that too.
I'm gonna have to say goodbye. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's, I think we're just about done anyway, but the other piece to that is to eat high calcium foods.
Bye, Rose. Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Beatrice. I'm sure we'll talk.
I don't do dairy because dairy puts me in the bathroom.
Right. So you can take calcium supplements.
Okay.
So, or you can pair it. Let's see, I'm trying to think what other foods might be high in calcium. Sesame seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, oranges, quinoa.
Okay.
Your beans.
Just not green beans?
No, beans. Yeah, well, navy beans are a great source of calcium. Your white beans are really
okay.
You know, so again, because they have lectins, you want to make sure you soak them and dump the soap water. Different herbs, you know, there's an herb called savory, and that has quite a bit. Dill, basil, marjoram, thyme, oregano. Those, you know,
Yeah, and I love Dr. Rita Marie's dill dip recipe,
There
but
you
they
go.
got cashews in it. So, and I'm not
So
eating them.
yeah, so you can just find other ways to put that in there. Um, trying to think what else.
So do you just substitute the cashews? Because I
Um,
love dill.
let me see. I'm just looking at oxalate protein.
Well, it's
Yeah,
been
you could use
nuts
something.
because I'm supposed to eat this low oxalate thing for my kidney, and my iron's been right down along with my blood. And so
Mhm.
now they're wanting me to eat more red meat for my iron, and I'm
That's-
taking 8 iron pills a day,
So
2
that's
times a day.
yeah. So that's not the only way you can get iron. And sure you've heard Dr. Rita talk about yellow dock, and
Yeah,
you know,
I was going to get some of that, and I saw somewhere where it says to not use yellow dock if you've had blood clots. So I didn't buy it.
how about blackstrap molasses? That's,
Okay, I could probably do that. I
Yeah.
don't know what it'll do to my sugars, but
well, just you don't need a lot, but that can be helpful, and it's also high in calcium.
okay.
So that would do that.
So I can throw those in with some white beans.
Yeah. Yeah. Your own baked beans. Just make sure that you're drinking lots of water, you're reducing your salt.
Yeah, see, I don't salt my food, and I don't really buy anything prepared. I don't buy like any frozen dinners or anything like that. And if I buy something in the freezer section, like through most of the winter, I bought frozen vegetables just because they're so high when they're not in season.
Yep, I totally get it. You do want to limit your vitamin C supplements.
Yeah, the kidney doctor told me to stop taking vitamin C, so I did.
Well, I don't know about stopping it, but you want to keep it, I'd say, below 700 milligrams a day.
Okay.
You want to limit it. You don't want to stop it. I mean, you need vitamin C. The study that was done, it was done on men, and it said that men who were taking 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day had a higher risk of developing calcium oxalate kidney stones. And women who took the same amount did not have a greater risk of kidney stone formation.
See, I never got to find out what kind mine was.
Oh, well.
When I went into surgery, he said he tried to reach that stone and just pull it out, but it was too close to my kidney and it was in the tube.
Yeah.
So he blasted it, and I screened urine for a whole week and never got a piece.
Oh, well.
So I do not know what kind of stone I had.
Yeah. Well, you can, again, lemons and limes, all right? Because lemons and limes also have citric acid, and that can actually reduce your chances of developing calcium oxalate stones.
Okay.
So when citric acid binds with calcium in the urine, it prevents it from bonding to oxalate. And citric acid also binds to existing calcium oxalate crystals, so it prevents them from getting larger, which means they're easier to excrete in urine.
Okay, they told me when I was in the ER that there was no way I was going to get rid of my stone because once it apparently is in the tube, it's there.
Okay.
And you don't pass it then. And I had to have a stent for like 10 days from my bladder to my kidney.
Yeah. Well, so to me, the best natural, I have a daughter-in-law that, in fact, she's pregnant and has kidney stones. And so I've been trying to help her a little bit here and there. So what I've been telling her is the combination of lemon juice, olive oil, and raw apple cider vinegar.
Okay. And I have all of those.
Yeah. So, especially if you have any stone pain symptom, you mix 2 ounces of your olive oil with 2 ounces of lemon juice. And then you just drink that straight. And then you follow it with about 12 ounces of water. And then you wait about 30 minutes. Then you squeeze the juice of half a lemon into about, again, 12 ounces of water. And then add 1 tablespoon of your raw apple cider vinegar and drink that.
Okay, so I got the 2 ounces of lemon juice, 2 ounces of olive oil, followed by.
And so you
water.
drink that, yep, and then followed by 12 ounces of water. And then you wait 30 minutes. And then squeeze the juice of half a lemon into 12 ounces of water. And add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and drink that. And then, like I said, if you're having that stone pain, you repeat this, the lemon juice, water, and apple cider vinegar recipe every hour until your symptoms improve. Another herb that's actually good for kidney stones is uva ursi.
And how do you spell that?
It's 2 words, uva, U-V-A, ursi, U-R-S-I. So not only will it help discourage infection in the kidneys, but it can reduce discomfort and cleanse your urinary tract. And some of the studies have said 500 milligrams 3 times a day is recommended for kidney stones.
Is that when you have stones or to prevent them?
Well, for sure when you do have them, but it can help because it's cleansing the urinary tract.
Okay.
So, and then dandelion root is also really good. And this is the root, not the greens, is also really good to cleanse the kidneys and support normal kidney function. So you could have dandelion root tea.
Okay. I can get some of that easy enough.
So those are just, again, try it out, see how it works.
Well, mealtime is not fun anymore because I just don't know what to eat.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to eat one thing for my blood and my iron, and I'm supposed to not have any of this other stuff for my kidney, which is what I ate every day. And it's like, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. So,
right.
Maybe I'll just go to the store and buy some, organic popcorn and fix it on the stove or something. I don't know. But it's overwhelming. I definitely don't have it figured out anymore about what to eat and what feels good. And right now my joints are sore.
Yeah. So one of the things to remember too is that oxalates impair the absorption of non-hemi iron.
Okay.
So, I mean, it somewhat makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I'm just looking at something here.
And he's got me taking 8 iron pills a day.
So how's your stomach acid?
I seem to be doing okay with that. In fact, they gave me a prescription for pantoprazole.
Mm-hmm.
And I filled it and I took a couple of them and then I quit because I decided to not take it because I don't have a gallbladder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already thinking I don't have the amount of stomach acid that I should have. And if they're going to give me something to restrict it further, I didn't think it was a good thing. So I quit.
Yeah. Well, again, that's where the lemon could be really helpful. I mean, and it makes sense that they would encourage meat because red meat increases the absorption of non-hemi iron.
Well, and I do have a benefit with the red meat that I'm very grateful for, and I'm just trying to focus on these things right now, is because my cousin and her husband have acreage, and they only grass feed their cows, and their cows don't get any grain. They just change fields.
Yeah.
So I buy my meat from them, and their chickens are organically fed. So I buy my chicken from them, and then they you know, she makes her goat milk soap and stuff, you know. I mean, she's like my farmer, you know. And they do their own maple syrup, and you know, so, and they raise their own chickens for meat and eggs, but you know, I kind of, the eggs aren't a good thing for me.
No, they're not. They impair the absorption of iron.
Yeah.
And the other thing with calcium,
plus they give me diarrhea. I can't.
Oh, well, yeah.
I can't do them.
I can't eat them because of the choline and the sulfur. But the other thing to be mindful of is calcium, because calcium can inhibit, again, absorption of both hemi and non-hemi iron. So if you're taking a supplement, you want to take it at bedtime, so it's away from all the other iron pieces.
Okay.
And then make sure you take it with vitamin D.
All right.
You want your calcium in a citrate form.
All right. I haven't been taking calcium.
Okay.
And
well,
but I also know it's a binder, so it's like, what do you do?
Right. Well, right. Like I said, with calcium before, is that suddenly my mind just stopped for a second. Yeah, when calcium binds to oxalates in your intestine, it's more likely to be excreted in your stool before making its way to the kidneys.
Okay.
So, your polyphenols, again, that's the grapes, inhibit iron absorption. So you've got phenolic acid in apples and peppermint.
So I shouldn't eat apples either?
Well, no, it's not that you shouldn't. It's just you want to be careful with them.
Okay.
So again, if you eat a lot, if you have an iron-rich meal, you want to have it away from that. And so, and that's the other thing too with the blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, they all can inhibit iron absorption. So you want, it's not that you can eat them away from foods that have iron.
Okay.
So it does take some planning, but.
Yeah, it does. And I was trying to see I guess I don't even have any calcium pills left. I was looking through trying to see what kind of calcium I had bought, but you're saying to get citrate or to take calcium citrate.
Yeah.
And I have magnesium glycinate.
Okay.
So my vitamin D3 is 5,000 IUs.
Okay.
I've been working on getting that up. I finally got up to 40 from 13.
Wow. Wow.
Oh. And I noticed that it went up to the 40 after, I think my second blood transfusion. So I don't know if it's from the transfusion and if I'm going to keep 40 or not. So I didn't want to stop taking it.
Sure. No, I don't blame you there. And especially look and see if you have a VDR gene snip, you'll want to keep it up. But again, take your calcium and your vitamin D together at bedtime.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lynn.
You bet.
See, I told you I was going to learn from you.
Yes, you bet. And like I said, if you want to, talk some more, you can either email me or go to my website and click on that.
Okay.
A free session.
Yeah.
And
I think I need to go read the breathing. I need to go find the breathing
yeah. That video
that you did, because I just get I can vacuum and be out of breath now, and I never had that before.
Yep.
So, well, but I also have not been as sedentary either in my whole life as I have been since January.
Right. So,
but,
you want to start introducing small amounts of movement, because that can also be a heart health issue.
Yeah. And both of my parents have had heart bypass. So, in fact, my dad was in his 50s and I'm going to be 67. So I'm feeling really good that, yeah. I've passed them already, both of my parents, and my mom died at 62.
Oh, wow. That's
That's
how old I am.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I'm thinking I'm going to be 67 in July, and I've not had any heart trouble. I had an EKG probably like maybe about 5 years ago, and everything is good.
Wonderful. Well, you're doing good things for yourself. So,
well, I found you, and I found Dr. Rita Marie. And yeah, when I listened to her talk about, losing her family members,
I know.
When the first time I heard her talk about that, I started crying because, both of my parents have been gone for a while.
Oh, see, I'm grateful mine are both still alive and kicking. They're pretty feisty.
Well, it just hurt me, and then 2 years ago, I lost my brother to colon cancer, and there's 4 of us, and he was the first sibling to die.
Oh.
And it's really hard.
Yes. Well, so as you feel that, as you listen into that sense of it's feeling really hard, see where you feel that. Have that conversation with that part of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you're feeling it's really hard. Tell me more about that.
Well, because he never told me about it, and we don't live close by each other. And so he never told me. I was preparing for bed one evening, and I went on Facebook to send somebody a message, and it was the first thing that popped up on my feed. And it was a post from my niece saying that her mother had lost her partner and very best friend, and it was a collage of photos.
Oh.
And I just froze, because I looked at that and I'm saying, what my niece is saying is that her dad died. My brother is dead. And so I called my other sister, to tell her that Joe had died, and she was like, "What? Joe's dead?"
Yeah,
we never knew he was sick. And no one ever called me, and no one ever called her. And it's been 2 years. It'll be 3 years this July.
Oh. So what's coming up now as you're talking about this?
Sadness.
And where do you feel this sadness?
In my stomach.
Yeah.
anytime I get upset about anything, I always get the worst stomach ache.
Yeah. So put your hands there. Let's just put your hands there. Just rest them and feel that. Feel that sadness. And allow it to just flow. Say, I feel you. Just listen to it.
It's just a really horrible way to find out.
It is and you feel that in your stomach. There's this horrible way I found out about the death of my brother.
Well, and my sister-in-law, we just didn't stay in close contact because, have you ever tried to have a relationship with somebody who just constantly has to stir the pot?
Yeah.
They have to make trouble no matter where they go or what they do. And so eventually you just kind of get to the point where you need to step back. You need to kind of get away from that person, which is what I did. And so I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't find out that he died until I read Facebook. So it So I've never had a conversation with her. There, it was there wasn't a funeral, and I think they had a private service, her and her daughter, and I don't know like what other family members on my sister-in-law's side of the family or whatever, but we were not invited. So my sister and I know that she has issues with that too.
Is his gravesite close by?
It's about 200 miles away from where I live.
Okay. Because I was like, well, what if you and your sister took some time and you just like, we want to see it.
I don't even know if he ended up with a gravesite or if they just have his ashes.
Oh.
I don't know. Because the service was just a private service. So I don't know if it was a memorial or if he was cremated. There was never an obituary in the paper. I went to MLive and tried to find his obituary and it wasn't there. So they just didn't do anything.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. So as you ask yourself, what do you want to do about this? What comes up?
I don't know what to do.
You don't know what to do. Okay. That's a great place to start.
I just I ordinarily would have reached out, but I was excluded from that.
Yeah, you were excluded. So
to find out on Facebook that my brother died was pretty horrific.
Yeah. I can hear that. I can imagine it would be myself. But
I don't care to have a relationship with her.
You don't have to have a relationship with her. You just
have
to choose for yourself what it is you want.
She's been toxic to me for years.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like peace and I don't have any.
Yeah. You're not feeling that peace.
And I think it has to do with not having the closure.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to get that.
Yeah. So give yourself some time. Give yourself some time and just ask yourself, what do I need for closure?
I think most people get that at the service. I think the service is for the people, not the dead person.
Okay, it is. It has a lot to do with it. So if you were going to create a service for your brother to help you have closure, how would that look?
I don't know. I just never thought about doing that. Do people do that? Do they make a service?
You
of
can
their
do
own?
whatever you want. Sure. Of course, you can do whatever you want. What do you need? This is about what do you need?
I don't know. There's just, I wish I had the time back and I don't.
Hmm.
It's never coming back.
Yeah. But you have the time now.
You're right. I'll have to think on that. I'm not sure how to make it better.
Yeah. If
I
you
never
journal,
gave.
I encourage you to journal about this because you've stirred up some strong emotions, some strong
I wasn't
energy.
expecting that either.
Well, neither was I.
No. Oh, goodness. Lynn, thank you.
Oh,
You've
you're so
given me
welcome.
some things to think about.
Hmm.
And I need to let you go so that you can get on with your evening with your
Well,
family. And
as you, and yeah. So some things will come up for you, and like I said, journaling is really good to help with that. Um, maybe talking to your sister, however you feel to process this is important. Make sure you drink plenty of water.
yep, I am. Part of the time that you were speaking, I had my iPad out in the kitchen because I was making water.
There you go. Perfect.
I have a reverse osmosis
Okay.
unit for the counter, and I went to go get a bottle of water. I have 8 water bottles. Can you believe this? And none of them are filled up because I ran the dishwasher earlier before I took the dogs to the vet. And then I came home and I laid down for a while, and then it was time that I wanted to be with you. And so I got with that, and I thought, dang, I didn't take those water bottles out of
Yeah.
the dishwasher. And now I don't have any water made either. This is disgusting.
Oh, that's disgusting, huh? Hmm.
Well,
Now
I'm just thinking because I have that many water bottles, there could be at least one with some water in it for me, right?
Well, so now you get a chance to rectify that.
Yeah. Well, I filled them up while we were and made more water
Okay, great.
while I was listening to you. So I have water for now, but
Wonderful.
it's kind of funny because my daughter told me I was a water snob, and then I bought her a unit just like mine. And guess who only wants to drink the water that's been filtered now?
Yes. Well, good for you for teaching her.
Yeah, and all of her kids are getting that way too.
There you go.
She said we can't go anywhere and or even visit. The kids don't like to drink the water anywhere, and I just laughed.
Oh,
Because I go to my sister's and I fill up my water bottles, but I also fill up candy jars so I have enough water for the whole weekend. And she'll say to me, our water's okay, right? And I said, I'm used to mine. I just want to only drink my own water. She's like, okay, you can do that.
There you go.
But
You're doing good things.
I just think it's better,
Mm-hmm.
and if I stop to get gas somewhere, and, sometimes we're traveling somewhere and everybody will go in to get a drink. I bet you I I haven't had a soda in probably 20 years. And I quit
Oh.
drinking coffee about 5 years ago. So,
Wow.
and there's no way I'm going in that gas station and getting water in a plastic bottle. I just won't do it.
Good for you.
So, I like my glass bottles, and they got a push button on them, and the lid pops open, so you don't have to always unscrew the lid and then put it back on, because that's what I hate.
Good for you. Yep.
So I found a bottle that works for me.
Good for you. Now you know.
Yeah. Thank you, Lynn.
You're so welcome, Rose.
Oh,
Yes. Oh,
I know, it's just like a heavy sigh. And you think I just think I should be feeling more over that. And I guess I wasn't.
well,
You have a way to bury
that's when you
things.
stop shooting on yourself, right? You
Yep.
should be doing this. Well, this is what you're feeling. And so, yeah.
Well, you have
So
a good night, and
you
I'm gonna look up the breathing. I'm gonna find out about breathing more,
Okay.
because
It's
I know that I
really
gotta find a
important.
way to get more oxygen in my blood, or I'm maybe not gonna be feeling as strong as I want to be feeling.
Okay, that's a good action plan.
So
All right.
beyond that, I'm not sure what to do as far as, getting some air back, but I'm thinking that as my blood, and my iron and stuff continue to come back up, that it should get better. But
That-
meanwhile, I
idea.
don't want to be sitting around. I've been laying around since January, and
Mm,
I don't want to be laying around anymore.
well, you just keep doing what you can.
I will. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And now I know how to do that stuff on the wall.
Here you go.
I told you I was going to learn from you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, have a good night, Lynn. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.